We're now going to take a look at black-led and black-managed Pamodzi Group, which has acquired a majority stake in an oil and gas distribution company named Sihle Petroleum. Now, this deal is set to give Sihle Petroleum a competitive advantage in the petroleum industry. And to talk me through this particular story and the genesis behind this particular transaction, I'm joined by Sihle Mkhize, the Executive Director at Pamodzi Group, to tell us a bit more about this acquisition. Cawe, thank you so much for joining me, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Let's maybe just get some brief background here to the Pamodzi Group. Many of our viewers might be familiar with the Pamodzi Group, and probably not as familiar with the Sihle Petroleums. Just the background and the genesis to this particular transaction.
Yes, so Pamodzi Group is an investment holdings company, and it's been around for 40 years now, incorporated in 1979. And it's taken many different shapes and forms. I mean, it started with the construction sector where the founders were building and developing townships, two-room and garage townships. And it evolved to become a private equity company, where we then also raised a $1.3 billion resource fund that came in. And we've done quite a few signature deals over the past 40 years. We brought Nike back into South Africa when the sanctions were over, and we took Nike from being nowhere all the way to being number one. We even sponsored the Springboks when they won the World Cup, and we also did the second biggest management buyout at the time when we bought into Food Corp. Food Corp had some of your household brand products, things like Oma's Rusks, your Yum Yum peanut butter, and your Nola mayonnaise. So we're quite a significant player in that industry. And, the next 40 years for us is looking at new deals, looking at strategic sectors to play in. There's a much younger and dynamic team that's very hungry for opportunities. So the oil and gas space for us was an interesting one, because most of our investments in your mining space and as well as agriculture uses a lot of those products. We use a lot of diesel, we use a lot of lubricants. So for us to vertically integrate into that supply chain made sense. So us buying this transaction was firstly, to benefit from being a supplier for our own subsidiaries, as well as to transform the sector. It's a very untransformed sector with all of the players. There's a very few African-owned players there. So we're a strong marketing company. We've got a very strong team that's able to unlock opportunities in the sectors. We've built a lot of relationships over the years. So for us, we were happy to do the deal to transform as well as to grow the company almost tenfold.
I guess you've mentioned the benefit that some of your other investee companies or subsidiaries might have on the back of having an asset like this within the Pamodzi stable. What are some of the other synergies that potentially could be unlocked here?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities that we are going to unlock for smaller business owners, smaller players in the market. They'll be able to benefit from, being able to participate in that value chain. There's a lot of deals that we do that we try and bring in your small business owners, in all of the sectors. Sure. This one is also going to be the same. So your owner, your driver owner, trucks will be able to supply the product. So there's a lot of opportunities that we're going to unlock even for the smaller players. Okay,
let's take a look at the mechanics now of this particular acquisition. 60% of Sihle Petroleum. How is that financed?
Well, we have a lot of relationships with international funders. Okay. We've been very successful in raising money abroad, in our history. So we've always stuck to that. For some reason, it's easier to bring money from overseas than raising it locally. And so we still run a few funds, so it's financed through balance sheets as well as international funders.
Okay, all right. And then when you look, I guess, at the existing sort of client base exposure to key market segments that Sihle has, potentially, how are you going to expand that on the back of, I guess, the extensive relationships that you have in the marketplace as Pamodzi?
Yeah, we're going to unlock a lot of supply contracts. You know, because we are in mostly the spaces that predominantly use a lot of the volumes, you know, of these products. You know, the plan is to start building and unlocking those relationships, not only for our investments, but for the whole industry as a whole. I'll give you an example in the agriculture space. You know, although we play in the food processing side, there's a lot of primary farming that utilizes the products. We have a lot of relationships with your traditional cooperaties, you know, that are a combination of a lot of farmers, you know. So we're going to be supplying to them. We're a level 1 BE company, you know, so they'll be benefiting as well from a transformation and scoring point of view. You know, so that's how we're going to